Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another video. Okay, so today I've got the absolute pleasure of trying out a guitar from a brand that's been on my radar for literally years. This is an SL52 from Slick Guitars. It's currently $289 and it has some insane features I have never seen on any other guitar in this affordable price range. Listen, I've tried a ton of budget guitars, never one like this though. Let's take a closer look. Now, as I said in the intro, Slick is one of those brands that's been on my radar for a long time. You know, I love trying out budget guitars, seeing which ones belong in the dumpster, and more importantly, which ones are worth modding the absolute crap out of and turning into a custom workhorse monster. Now, the Slick brand was developed by Earl Slick, best known for his guitar work with David Bowie, John Lennon, Yoko Ono even. It's exclusively distributed through Guitar Fetish, and the specs are, quite frankly, insane for a budget line. So, massive thanks to them for sending this out for us to check out together, and let's jump into it. So, first and foremost, what the fuck? This is a sandblasted ash body. They've managed to ash blast a body on a sub $300 guitar. How? I have never seen this before, let alone to this quality in this price range. You know, usually with this kind of spec, you're talking about $1,000 guitars because not many factories can do it. I know, not everybody's into this particular aesthetic. Shiv said it looked like someone kind of just threw purple acid all over it, and yeah, I can kind of see it. I love it though. There's a huge amount of depth, and the softer natural grain has been colored this dark purple. I'm such a sucker for that. And straight up, if you love ash blasted bodies with colored grain filler, this guitar is worth buying for the body alone. Look on eBay right now, you're not getting anything less for 500, 600 bucks. And the selection usually sucks. The figuring on this though is really nice, and there's variety. The SL52 comes in aged sunburst black ash, turquoise ash, and tuxedo ash. Or if you're not a devout believer in the cult of the single cut, there's also the double cut SL59 and SL60 with single and double P90s respectively. There's the traditional Strat style SL57, modern single humbucker Super Strat SL54T with the 6-point trem, vintage style T SL51, more modern style T in the SL50, and even a dual Filtertron T SL55. And they've even added a semi-hollow offset SL56 to the line. Every one, by the way, is less than 300 bucks, comes in a variety of colors, some sandblasted with grain filler, others just regular aged, a lot to choose from. Somewhat fun fact, this kind of look was what I was actually originally going for with my first run of signatures. Black sandblasted ash with purple grain filler. We just couldn't find anyone that could do it well and keep it affordable. So I absolutely love this, and logistically it's actually incredible that they pulled this off in the budget guitar space. Best things for modders is it's listed as a 56mm pocket, so I need a spare neck to test it myself, but theoretically that's a very standard neck spec. You could replace it with something from any number of suppliers if you just wanted to use the body, and you might actually want to do that because unfortunately the neck is the weakest aspect of this particular guitar. Now, bear in mind, it's just this particular unit. Consistency can be a challenge with more affordable guitars. Spec-wise, it's a bolt-on Canadian rock maple neck with a rosewood fingerboard. This one even has some bird's eye figuring and flame figuring on the neck, which is crazy cool. And while the fingerboard is listed on the spec sheet as a 12-inch radius, for some reason it feels flatter. The actual piece of wood is nice though, well hydrated, well polished. The large frets are good, really good actually. They're polished well, so they're smooth when you're doing bends or vibrato, but the edges aren't entirely flush with the fingerboard. They badly need to be filed down. It's better on the top side of the neck, but needs a little more help on the underside. So between the flat feeling fingerboard and somewhat questionable fret ends, personally the neck feels kind of off, although I do love the satin finish thin C neck shape and the matching sandblasted ash headstock veneer. Hey, it's Hunter from the future here. So I've since been reminded that the frets might be that way because the guitar was sent all the way back in February when it was much colder. We'll see how they adjust to the warmer weather heading into a brutal Georgia summer. Okay, continuing on. I also love the finish. On the product page, Slick calls it a single coat of old-fashioned automotive clear coat that's been sanded back. I don't think that means nitro, but it feels great. So much better than when import guitars are caked in layers of plastic poly. Because the finish is so thin, you really feel connected to the instrument when you play this guitar. And Hunter from the future here again. Guitar Fetish has actually clarified a couple of spec details for me. The finish is actually enamel, which again feels great, but should also break in as you play it, something that you don't get with poly. Okay, back to you, Past Hunter. And also, good news for the rest of you that enjoy boat anchors. This is a boat anchor. For what it is, I mean, it doesn't have a carved top or anything, it's still incredibly heavy. We're talking not quite Norland Les Paul custom heavy, but getting there. And I don't know about you, but heavy guitars are just so satisfying to lay into on the bridge for some ultra satisfying chugs. Like, especially when you're absolutely punishing the bridge with palm mutes, it feels so good. In this case, that has something to do with the bridge itself as well. So it's a hardtail wraparound, and the entire thing is recessed into the body, which is pretty dope. So you can lower it right in and get the action real low on this guitar, which can sometimes be a problem with wraparounds, the way they sit on top of the body. Sometimes you can only get the action so low. And by recessing it, they've solved that. They've also, and this is crazy, made the bridge out of a solid raw billet of brass. These big Monopoly house-style saddles are also brass. It's a slightly warmer sound compared to steel, so that is very, very cool. A lot of old school players swear by brass saddles because of the warmer sound, and it would have been really cool if the nut were also brass to match, but we'll talk more about that in a second. Regardless, you never see this. Brass saddles on budget guitars, and besides the subtle sound difference, they look awesome. It's matched by the brass switch tip knob, brass knurled control knob, and the brass tuning keys. Apparently with the tuners, the crown and pinion gear are both solid brass as well, but I still found the guitar to be kind of jumpy with tuning stability, and I think that's down to the nut. Slick describes it as hand cut and made of graphite. It doesn't look super well cut though, and the strings were kind of getting stuck on it. Given the price point, this is something I can forgive, and if you want to get even more nitpicky, I mean, you can point to all the brass chrome mismatches, the rest of the pickup selector, the output jack, the tuner housings, but come on, it's a budget guitar, and mismatched or not, the back of the neck plate just looks awesome. They've committed to the theme in most places though. Strap buttons, control cavity screws, pickup ring screws even, faux relic pickup rings. I kind of wish they were hand aged like they've done to the pickups, because the rings are identically quote unquote relicked with each other and presumably with every other slick out there, which looks pretty goofy. But it's cool that they've even tried to do something to match the hand relics pickups, which is pretty crazy, again, on a sub $300 guitar in 2022. More importantly than the hand-aged covers though, these pickups actually sound pretty dang good. It's the slick, old school humbucker set with Alnico 5 magnets, and interestingly, it's not just the covers that have been aged. They say they've also dialed in some sag to replicate the feel of an old pickup set that started to demagnetize with age. Hey, Hunter from the future again. Last time, another quick spec clarification. For their pickups, Slick have literally degauzed them. So they haven't just dialed in some of the sag, they've literally removed some of the magnetism to simulate the effects of old age. They wanted the true feel and true sound of a real vintage pickup, and that's how they've gone about doing it. Very, very cool. Okay, that was the last interruption. Back to the video. Don't have experience with legit old pickups to compare, but these sound nice and smooth to my ear. The control cavity is well organized and it's shielded and it's extra long, so there's plenty of room to drill an additional hole for a tone pot or kill switch or Sustainiac controls. It's a $290 guitar with a lot of customization potential to really make your own. So overall, I think you guys could tell by now what I think about this guitar. It's very impressive. Compared to other budget guitars, it takes a really different route and it's super unique. The fret ends really let this guitar down, because otherwise you could have told me this is a guitar double the price and I would have believed you without question. Let's be real, triple the price and I probably still would have believed you. The deep sandblasted ash body, the half flame, half bird's eye maple neck, the aging, all the brass parts. I mean, for a budget guitar, these are ridiculous specs. And in general, the thing plays really, really well. It barely needed a setup out of the box, no neck adjustment or anything like that. It's just these fret ends, man. These are really the only thing that gives it away as a budget guitar. Well, that, the nut, and how rough the plastics like the rear control cavity and truss rod covers are cut, those aren't great, but you know, expectations are different when it's a $289 guitar. And the fact they've managed to do this body and these brass parts alone is insane. And I can't emphasize this point enough. If you're interested in just the bodies, it's basically worth it for just that alone. So yeah, I've played a lot of budget guitars. This one is special though. The approach they've taken is completely different to Epiphone, to Squier, to Harley Benton. And yeah, it's just a breath of fresh air in the budget guitar space. It's a crazy guitar, dude. Also crazy, so it wouldn't get damaged in shipping for the review, Guitar Fetish included an LP-sized hard case that usually would not come with the guitar. And I call it the cantaloupe case because it's white on the outside with orange plush on the inside. Just thought I'd mention it in case anyone's looking for an LP-sized hardshell case, because it feels just as good as any other premium hard case out there, and color-wise, this is an absolutely outrageous option. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about this guitar for now. If you're new here, I mean, you made it all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and you may as well subscribe at this point if you want to see more videos like this one. You can also check the bell for notifications, that way you don't miss any new uploads from me. Thank you to all my wonderful patrons for supporting the channel. We would not be able to do any of this without you. If you want to join them in supporting the content and get bonus extras like MP3s and tabs to all the demo tracks, as well as help upgrade everything to crispy 4K for even better content for you guys, the link will be in the description. In the meantime, affiliate social media and Discord server links are also down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I will see you for the next video.